Male or female?
I have no clue. It does not show their.
And a jolly good morning to you, whether you're in Ireland or wherever. We're getting ready for the show this morning, so just hang in there. Don't go away. We got about a minute or so, and I hope you'll enjoy it. We got beautiful weather here. Yeah, please. Orky dorky. Do, 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 do. Okay, yeah, don't think they could hear me, but they might. Who knows? But if they hear me again now, it's almost Christmas time. Do you know that? Well, we're back.
We are back.
We seemed like I was just here. Yeah, was it yesterday? Is today Thursday or Friday?
Yesterday was
Oh,
Friday.
it's red.
Eve.
It's Thursday. Well, before our cameras really got on the air this morning, before we went hot a couple of minutes ago,
Yes.
and whoever's listening there from Ireland, hey, good morning. Good morning to you. Lee and I did our parts to putting an end to this drought that we've got. We were both outside, and we were doing a rain dance. We were. So later this morning, you should do the same thing. We might just repeat it.
Well, I think we should start a GoFundMe account for Mother Nature.
Mama Nature don't need no money. I can tell you that.
She
right
needs
now.
something.
She's good. Lee found some chicken feathers and she tied a scarf around her head, put some feathers there. The two of us did a little rain dance in the yard this morning. After we did that rain dance, we said that might not be enough. So we washed all the cars in the driveway, all three of us.
True.
The only other thing I can think of is maybe I'll wash a load of clothes here in a little bit.
Hang them out to dry.
And hang them out to dry. Because about the time they get out there and keep the windows down in the car,
Right.
and then about the time get all those clothes hanging out there, here comes the rain. Here comes the rain.
We desperately needed the whole southern coast of the
And then
United
we start
States.
running. So do we run and put the windows up in the car first, or do we bring the clothes in first?
Well, unless you want to get beat by Mama, you get the clothes first.
Well, I think the clothes are already wet, so not a big deal, right?
Well,
So
no,
go
it
ahead.
never starts to rain until they're actually dry on the line.
Oh, so then you should take them in.
Right.
Good Friday morning. I'm Rayford Brown, welcoming you to the Friday edition of Live and Local Real Talk.
And good morning, TGIF. I'm Lee Barrels, and welcome in.
And after the rains get started, we probably, because sometimes we end up getting way too much when we haven't had enough. It's kind of like getting really thirsty, you know?
Right.
And you go and you start drinking and you're drinking and drinking, then you suddenly have way too much. So we will look for the spigot and we'll turn the rain off after we get enough.
Yeah.
Isn't that the way the cycle works?
Absolutely.
Anyway.
Absolutely. I just, there's so many fires. Georgia's going through a terrible time. Florida's going through a terrible time. We've had some here and there in our county. So
I hope that nobody's out there setting any of these fires, but typically when conditions are right, there will be people they just want to hear the sirens. They want to see the firefighters running. I mean, I've run into that in Wilmington. There was a firebug in Wilmington doing that. We call them firebugs, but they're actually felony arsonists as far as I'm concerned.
yes. And I'll tell you, they have a way of finding you.
Yeah. Well, if the cameras are everywhere these days.
Yep.
Used to be, and some of these fires that were going around that looked like they may have been set in Wilmington.
Right.
The police and the media those days, they were very friendly with each other. Okay, so the
Right.
police could come in and look at all the footage, sit down because they didn't have anything to play it on anyway, and even if you made a copy, but they'd just come in and sit there in the newsroom and look at the footage when we weren't really going crazy, and look at the footage to see if they saw the same people. That was one of the things they were doing, if they would see the same people in the crowd. And honestly, to be straight up with you, we both TV stations at the time, we routinely scanned the crowds, not to help the police necessarily, but we had those images. So when the police did arrest somebody, we could go back and pull the footage and say, here he was at this fire. That made a really good news story then.
Oh, sure.
So that's the way we used to do it.
Was it California last year that had those massive fires? They ended up making some arrest out of them. But massive fires, homes being burnt. It was bad. It was bad, bad, bad. I just hope and pray. I don't think we're going to get enough rain this weekend, but
well, you just did it.
We also have another chance midweek for more to come in. So
yeah, buddy.
I think when I read yesterday, it said we need at least 12 inches of rain
just to get even.
Right.
I wonder how much it will take to end the drought, because we have a deficit of 12 inches.
Yes.
And of course, the problem is if it all happens at one time, then you've got flooding, and then you've got runoff, and then the water doesn't go where it needs to go. It just drains into the rivers and the creeks and stuff. That's not where the water is needed. Yes, it's there, but it's needed in the ground.
Here, you know what it says to end the drought in eastern North Carolina? It's estimated that 15 to 19 inches of rain over the next 90 days.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, that might do it. Not going to happen. Unless in the 90 days, unless there happens to be one of those H things come up.
Right.
You never know. It could happen.
Lord.
Of course, nobody on either side did anything about the hurricane that hit North Carolina the year before last, was it? That's, yeah.
You talk about Helene. A once in a lifetime, once in 100-year hurricane that went to the mountains instead of the coast. And
a lot of gone to the mountains, but generally they do quick landfall first. And yes, this one did hit the coast.
Mm-hmm.
Not ours. It just hit the coast down there in Florida or Alabama or wherever it came ashore.
It was,
so the hurricane does not start on land in the United States that I know of.
Right.
They start in the ocean somewhere.
Exactly.
They have a system that develops and then moves into the ocean.
Who would have thought going to the mountains that weekend would you'd get hit by a hurricane? Well, actually, it was.
You knew it though. You knew it in advance that it was coming.
From what I was told from a meteorologist.
You read it. You read it on the.
No, I did not read it. It's Charlie.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I was told by a meteorologist.
Oh.
I was up in the itty bitty top corner of the state, and it wasn't projected. It wasn't these.
Those guys get it right. Those guys get it right half the time. So
I just will never go anywhere again in my life. I'm just going to sit at home.
There you go. You'll be a magnet for all the hurricanes there are. Good morning, Charlie. How are you?
It's your fault.
I'm hoping one day that somebody calls in and it's not Charlie.
They do. We get people calling in. They're not Charlie.
But they show their numbers.
So I'm going to listen to your show. I've got some problems going on in my life right now. Remember my Las Vegas situation?
Yes.
Yes. We went through that. We went through that yesterday.
Yeah, they're suing me. My attorney is suing me.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that?
Yep.
Yes. Yes, we did, Joe.
I'm absolutely going to go out. It really doesn't matter. So do you think human beings are mostly good, or do you think human beings are mostly bad?
They're born good. They develop bad traits, and sometimes it's because of the environment. Sometimes it's because of neglect. Sometimes it's because their parents. Sometimes it's because
they're just
evil. That way. And they get hooked up with bad people. Sometimes they have problems that are brought on by lifestyles, shall we say? And who knows? I don't think anybody is actually born evil. Some will disagree with that, but I don't think they're born evil. I think they develop bad traits.
So I think I'm fishing for something here. If you guys both had to describe me, and you're like, Charlie, relax, go to bed. If you had to describe me, how would you describe me?
difficult difficult with yourself. That's probably where I'm not a shrink. You understand that, right? I've dealt with a lot of people, and most of the people that I have dealt with under those types of situations are not folks that's the only issue that I have to deal with them for, because I don't. That's what psychologists and psychiatrists are for, to deal with folks who.
I'm just talking about, I'm not talking about psychology. Listen, I don't believe in Freud. I don't believe in the Bible. As a human being, we're all born. We're all live. We're all gonna die. If you had to describe me, how would you describe me?
Complex would be one word. Not showing exactly which direction you're going on any given day. I think you get really on subjects that probably don't really matter a lot. You get really deep into them, and to the point that you're saturated with whatever you're dealing with.
And can I ask your co-host?
You can, but I'm not sure she's going to answer. But go ahead.
Interesting. Just, I don't really have much to say. I mean, you call in and we talk. And
if you were to,
I know you've got some issues.
Lee, if you were to fill out a dating application for him on a website somewhere, this is going to be fun. How would you describe him if you were to fill it out? If you were like, you're going to pretend to be him, what would you say
to me?
What would you say about yourself to try to get a date?
About myself?
No, if you were put yourself in his shoes and knowing Charlie, what you know about Charlie, how would you describe yourself to get a date?
Lonely.
Lonely, looking for love, and all
there
the
you go.
lonely,
looking
places,
for love,
and all the wrong places. It's an interesting question that I can pose there,
yes.
Isn't it, Charlie?
I guess I was looking for something different, but I'm going to accept what you guys said.
What were you looking for?
I think you know what. I guess I was. I asked a question, and you guys said what you said. Mm-hmm. So there's nothing I can say.
Yeah. Well, how would you describe yourself?
I think I'm a really good person. I think that I make a lot of mistakes in life. I think that I know that creatively, I know that I'm funnier than most people. I know what humor is. I've had some disturbing things happen to me, like all of us have, and I think there's humor in everything that happens that's disturbing. I think I'm a good person, and if you do something wrong to me and you look me in the eye and you say, "Listen, I apologize. I'm sorry for what I did," I'm going to say, "Listen, I've made the same mistakes." But if you don't acknowledge, I'm not talking about you cut me off in traffic, but if you do something to me that is really severely psychologically harming to me as a human being, I'm going to forgive you. If you don't accept responsibility, I'm going to destroy you, your loved ones, your family. I'm going to go after you with a vengeance. I've done it before. That's just who I am as a person. We're all different human beings, but I'm willing to forgive. But if you hold your head high and you look at me like I'm the idiot, I'm going to destroy you. And I mean that respectfully.
Well, at least you're honest.
Well, I'm going to go after this law firm. I'm going to go after this law firm. I'm going to, yeah. It's on video. I was attacked at Caesar's Palace. I was violently attacked. And all these people are telling me that I'm crazy. It's on video. And all these lawyers are like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. My own law firm, now they're going to sue me. They're going after me. They don't realize that their son that was representing me, we had a conversation where he's like, "Listen, if you do get money, I think I can funnel it to you, but you don't have to pay it back to the state." What? He said that to me. This is a reputable law firm. Anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about. Listen, lonely? Yes. I think I'm a good person. I'm not a monster. I think there's a lot of human beings out there that are very sick and disturbed. I don't fall into that category.
Okay, let's just real quick like there before we break. You described yourself as if you're wronged by somebody who doesn't admit that they're wrong, that you will go after them and you will destroy them and you will destroy their family. Okay, that's where you are That's where you just said you're a good person. There's nothing wrong with you. That's where you're absolutely wrong.
No. If you do something horrific to me, I'm talking about the major things in life. I'm talking about child molestation. I'm talking about kidnapping. I'm talking about horrible, horrible things. Now, if you deny these things, and it can be proven that you've done these horrific, horrific things, and you deny these things, I'm going to go after you and your loved ones. I'm going to destroy your whole existence. I've done it before. I'm going to do it again.
That's where you're totally wrong. But that's neither here nor there. Pick your
How
targets.
am I wrong?
What's the family got to do with it?
You can't, because the people that have hurt you, you can't hurt them. You have to go, listen, you present them with a letter saying, listen, you did this to me, I want to forgive you. If the person writes back and says, listen, I did nothing to you, you're going to write back again and say, listen, I don't want to hurt you, but I'm going to hurt your family. That's going to destroy your life and their life. I'm going to do it. That's just how my brain works. So you can say, Charlie, you're sick. It's just all of us have different ways of doing things. All of us have different ways of settling things in life. You have your way of settling things in life. I have my ways. I'm a good person. If you hurt me, I'm going to forgive you. But if you tell me that I'm crazy and I'm sick and I'm the monster, I'm going to graft you with a vengeance. I've done it before. I'm going to do it again. Then you can, come on, Rayford, come on.
If you come after my family under any conditions, Charlie, you will cease to exist.
Not you, Rayford,
I know
not you.
I'm talking about if you or anybody else should come after my family, you will cease to exist.
No, wait. If someone is a child molester, okay, I had some horrible things happen in my childhood. A molester. And I've confronted these people, and they're basically like, hey, you're crazy, you're sick. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'm going to give you, I've literally offered $20,000 to multiple people to take polygraph exams. Like, you're crazy, Charlie.
I thought you were broke. I didn't think you had $20,000.
No, it isn't that. But I'm going to come back to you and say, listen, I want to forgive you. And if you're going to say, listen, you're sick, dude, I'm going to say one more time, I'm going to forgive you. And you're going to come back and say you're sick. I'm like, you know what? I'm going after all of your loved ones to hurt you.
Okay.
That's how my brain works.
You need to get some real serious assistance, Charlie.
No, I don't need assistance. I don't. You're not hearing what I'm saying. That's fine. You don't get what I'm saying. You're not grasping it. You're not grasping what I'm saying. If somebody hurts you in life, horrifically hurts you in life, you approach them and say, listen, you did this to me. I want to forgive you. And it's like, you're sick in the head, Charlie. You're a monster. Okay, once again, you did this to me. I can prove it. And you're like, you're sick in the head. I'm like, you know what? F you. F you. I gave you an option, and I'm going to destroy your whole existence. That's how my brain works.
Okay. That's why I say you need a little assistance, Charlie.
I don't, Rayford. I don't. Okay, I got to go. I don't need assistance.
Okay, Charlie.
Trust me. All right, bye.
Bye.
First of all, you want the side eye now?
And I understand where Charlie thinks he's coming from. But Charlie, he doesn't have a family, as far as what we understand. Is that correct?
Correct.
And so he's raised in foster homes. I'm not sure what occurred, how he ended up there. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. But, he doesn't have a family. I am assuming from what he's saying, he is a loner.
Right.
He says he's lonely. So I'm assuming he pretty much spends most of his time alone. I don't hear him talking about any great friends that he's had, and we've been talking to him for about a year or so now.
Right.
These are what I'm putting together, and these are the folks that really do need some counseling from someone who can understand it. I can't understand folks like that, and I'm not trained to. I don't know what to tell them. I can refer them, as I just did, with strong suggestions, because that's what I see. And what I fear is what he's talking about, going after somebody else's family.
No, that's wrong. Charlie needs Jesus.
Yeah. Do we have another call?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, we don't. But
all right, let's take a quick break and do some weather. Okay,
well,
what do you think about this? Summertime
right
has
to
returned. Summertime has gotten back
Yes.
here. Highs yesterday bounced at one time way high. It got sweaty.
It got a little warm.
Some strong southwesterly winds and elevated seas were the stories in coastal waters last night, offshore, not here on the beach. This will once again bring some unsettled boating conditions. See, there's weather and there's stuff on land, and then there's the boating conditions. Winds and seas will become calmer later this morning. Similar conditions overnight tonight, though. Good news is that lighter winds will return tomorrow morning. Keep your eye, though, on the reports from the National Weather Center, and be careful around the inlets regardless, because they're going to be potentially treacherous either way. Westerly winds today about 20 knots, gust to 25, seas 4 to 6 feet. Tomorrow, southwesterly winds 15 to 20, gust to 25 in the morning, seas 3 to 5 feet. A slight chance of showers tomorrow afternoon, a slight, but then Sunday, northwesterly winds 10 to 15, northerly 15 to 20 with gusts to 25 by the afternoon, seas 2 to 4. They're going to get bigger, 4 to 6 in the afternoon, showers with a chance of thunderstorms in the morning, then showers likely in the afternoon.
Today, sunny with a high near 89, west wind 6 to 9 miles per hour with gusts as high as 15. Tonight, mostly clear with a low around 60. Tomorrow, Saturday, a slight chance of late afternoon showers into the early evening. Sunny with a high near 88. Saturday night, an 80% chance, yes, of showers and thunderstorms, low around 60. Rainfall amounts between 1/10 and 1/4 of an inch, except higher amounts possible in thunderstorms. And Sunday, showers and possibly a thunderstorm in the morning, a high near 75. So that is your rain outlook for the weekend.
Well, it sounds like we may get a little. I hope
May get a little.
we could in some locations. If a thunderstorm comes up, they go. So that's usually the way that works. Heavier downpours in the thunderstorms. Talk to you about the marine forecast there. Joe, who is down in the borough this morning, Swansboro, he's over at Emerald Isle right now. He reported 64 degrees clear, had a beautiful sunrise, but the waves had waves there, and they were close together. I mean, it's choppy, and some of that's going to be wind driven. And the waves that we get up on the beach, they don't start right where we can see them. They start way offshore. And as they approach, they may start at 600 feet of water. At 600 feet of water at the Gulf Stream, they might be kind of rollers far apart.
Right.
So getting bigger. And as they get in shallower water, all of that energy got to go somewhere.
Exactly.
So those waves will get big, and it comes to the surface. And that's the way it works. The shallower it gets, the more intense the wave action is. So if they're big way offshore, they're going to be bigger and nastier the closer to the beach that they get. And that's what we're going to end up with here. Joe in the borough said 66 degrees in Swansboro itself, 53% humidity, 29.89 inches of mercury. Northwesterly winds running about 6 miles per hour. They were westerly at the beach itself. No rain. Nobody had any rain overnight. Lee in the Woodlands this morning, 60 degrees, 66% humidity, 29.90 inches of mercury. Winds out of the south at about 2 miles an hour. Here in at the studio, that's in Country Club, it's 62 degrees, 69% humidity now. And the winds are currently 6 miles per hour. They've had them up to about 7 or 8 this morning. And the flags were both flying at one time up high, but the windmill down just below at 6 feet above the ground, it wasn't even turning. So that's the way the wind works when we're getting into some unstable.
Right.
There's nothing definitive about the wind. That may happen a little bit later on, but we'll see. Ken out in Onslow Bay this morning, 63.5 degrees, 49% humidity. He had light winds at the time. Ward over in Cedar Point, 64.8 degrees, 62% humidity, 29.97 inches of mercury, and falling. Indication of stuff to come. The barometer here is like 29.67. It's been falling, and it all the symbols indicate it's going to rain at some point in time over the next day or so. Ward had winds westerly 8 to 10 miles per hour at Cedar Point. Randy on the golf court out there in Southwest, he had 69% humidity, 61 degrees, 29.89 inches of mercury. He said it was clear with winds of about 2 miles per hour. James over in Bladen County on his way to work this morning said it was 63 degrees and clear. Carol over in River Bend, 61 degrees. So she prepares for tomorrow's big old plant sale. 61 degrees in River Bend, 66% humidity, northwesterly winds. And Brian down in Swansboro, 63.3 degrees a few minutes ago, 58% humidity, 29.57 inches of mercury, no wind, and of course, no rain. And that's what we can kind of expect going along here.
Right, we were talking about offshore waters, we were talking about near the shore, et cetera, et cetera. Yesterday, Corolla Fire and Rescue had to rescue 3 people in the ocean on floats. You don't take floats into the ocean.
Well,
they were on floats.
What kind of floats were they on?
They did not show. Rubber ducky something, I don't know. Right. But anyway, strong southwest winds came around and made them drift out. So one of the members of the rescue team went out there on the board to check on them to make sure they weren't trying to swim back in. And rescue was Corolla Beach Rescue, Currituck Fire, EMS, and CFR helped with the rescue efforts and got them back to shore. I don't advise taking floaties out into the ocean, like the little floats that you use in a pool.
Let me explain why you don't do that. Those things are very light.
Mm-hmm.
They keep you well above the water. Now, the water and the action of the waves is one thing, and generally that's where it's in the water.
Right.
These little floaty things are almost lighter than air. If you don't believe it, let a wind pick up and see what happens.
Right.
But when the wind is blowing and you're above the water, sitting on these floaty things that are lighter than anything, they're not a boat. They have no keels on them. They don't float down in the water. There's nothing to help keep them stable like the water. And the wind will take you wherever it wants to take you. If you've got an old beach ball sometime, one you want to donate, when the wind is blowing out in the ocean, throw that thing in the ocean and just watch it.
Well,
miles
it's just,
and miles away she will go.
The beach is not made for floaties.
No,
floaties are for swimming pools, but all 3 rescued were treated for hypothermia yesterday.
Oh, it was cold. Well, that water's chilly, people.
I do hope they're doing well today.
Well, I'm sure they are by now.
And leave the floaties for the swimming pool.
Yeah, and hypothermia, the water temperature in the surf is still not 70 degrees. That means it's cold.
It's going to be like 80 for me.
Yeah, when it gets up to about 78 or 80 degrees, you'll be fairly okay to get into the water.
Right.
But otherwise, just get in, take a dump, and then take a dunk and get out of the water.
Take a dip.
Take a dip.
Take a dip.
Take a dip and dunk your head into the ocean. Unless you've already, no, don't do that. But anyway, get out there and take a little dip, do a little swimming if you want to, very quickly. Take your time getting into the water. Okay?
Right.
Ease into it. You may get to your knees and say, this ain't worth it. I'm going back to the beach. Those are the smart people because you see them at the beach a lot. They'll start walking out there. They got a plan. So they get up to about their knees and they say, I'm going back to get that towel and dry off. That water's cold. And it is. It's still cold.
Sometimes the easiest way is just to walk in, watch for that one big wave, and dive. Just go right into it, full body. You come up, and you've got past the cold.
When you're a little kid, and you haven't been around bad things during your life.
Don't ruin it. Don't ruin this for me.
That's when you learn to cuss.
Ooh.
All right, something you won't likely see, I hope, in Jacksonville unfolded in New York.
Oh, my gosh, New York.
As one city councilman was forced to the floor by police, arrested, and taken away. Oh, yeah.
It's every day.
Chi Ase, a Brooklyn member of the city council, was protesting what his office called deed theft. A woman living in his district was facing eviction after she'd been residing in her home, they claim, for 6 decades. I don't know why they're evicting her. I don't know who owns the home. I don't know what the issue is, but there's a legal eviction order in place. And the councilman's office said that the constituent is one of many Black residents facing eviction. For his part in the disruption that was occurring, Osei became one of 4 people arrested and charged with obstruction of governmental administration and disorderly conduct.
Well,
A little bit more about this mess. The New York City, I did not know New York City had a sheriff's department, but apparently they have. Well,
Huh?
they have. The city of New York has what they call the sheriff's office, and they have U.S. Marshals living there. They were working together in New York, where at the residence in question, they were there to serve the eviction notice. It turns out the reason the marshals were there is to look for a person that is what they call a ward of the state of Georgia. I don't know what that means. A ward of the state of Georgia, but had been reported missing and had been missing for quite some time. But apparently they think was living in this house in question in New York. Now we're going to find out sooner or later what this house was all about. I don't think what was on the surface is what this house is all about. Little old lady been living there for 60 years or something. I don't know. A judge had signed the eviction notice. That's legal. And that's what the officers were attempting to serve, a legal order from a judge. They were prevented from completing that task initially by a large group of protesters who had advance notice, who were warned
of course.
that they were coming.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Council Member Osei was there waiting. He was part of the protests, along with others. They were blocking the gate in front of the building, according to police reports. So the police officers who were there, federal agents, did what federal agents do. They went to move them. 4 people did not want to move. 4 people went to jail. He was one of them. I'm a city councilman. I'm a city councilman. Put your hands behind your back. No, you don't dare slam dunk on the ground. Then your hands go behind your back. I'm sorry. And when you do that, and the more you wiggle on the ground, the more your face is going to get hurt because you're doing it, wiggling it back and forth on the
That's
ground.
why they put the knee to the back.
There's going to be a knee on your back to keep you down.
Yes.
That's the way it works. And if it's a felony, you're going to have a gun to the back of your head.
You know,
That's the way it works.
So much corruption.
Oh, well.
Much corruption.
Yeah, there's just a bunch of crap. 910-333-0139. We've got a gentleman coming in here this morning.
Right.
That's a good guy.
Yes.
We've known of him and met him and talked with him and seen him in action for a number of years now.
Yes, he's Ken Lovell, the director of the Coastal NCFCA, which is the Fellowship of Christian Athletes.
No, he's the FCA man.
Yeah, but I'm putting it out there first.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Ken's
Go
going to be
ahead.
joining us this morning.
Yes,
and
it'll be pleasure.
It'll be good.
It'll be pleasure to have
we're
him.
talking about good stuff
Yes.
because lots of good things happen.
Yes. You were talking about New York and the police department, and one of our listeners on YouTube, Too Real for TV, said that New York City has the biggest police force in the USA. And they are correct. The New York City Police Department is the largest municipal police force
We know that.
in the United States, with approximately, guess how many sworn officers?
About 6,000,
33,000.
33,000.
33,000. They serve over 8.5 million residents across 5 boroughs and is responsible for a wide range of public safety functions. So, wow.
They've had the largest police force since beginning of time. But the sheriff's office there, that's a separate organization. And I guess they're there to serve civil papers a lot, like eviction papers and all that sort of good stuff. And the Marshals Service, they got federal agents with the Marshal Service stationed all over the country, and they go after people like absconders or people that are wanted from other areas that they have word that are in your location. Then they put their team together, and they also have, which is interesting, there are some police officers. There was even a highway patrolman here in this area. I know of him, and they have some deputy sheriffs around the area that are also sworn as U.S. Marshals, as deputy marshals. So they're carrying 2 badges.
Well, anyway, going back to this, that's a big payroll. Plus, they have 15,000 civilian staff.
Yeah.
That's a big payroll. The second largest police department, okay, who would you guess?
L.A.
Chicago. Then L.A. than Philadelphia.
Hmm.
But Chicago has roughly 11,700 sworn officers. LA has 8,900. Philadelphia, 6,000 approximately. That's good. Boy, no, city taxes.
Now, I think the
pay for
Los
that
Angeles
place.
County Sheriff's Office there,
Yes.
they do a lot of work because the city of Los Angeles covers a lot of area. They work outside the city, but they also do a lot of work inside the city there in LA.
Wow. That's a lot of, that's a
And
big
then, and of
payroll.
course, the highways there, being state highways, even through the city and whatever, the chippers, California Highway Patrol, the chip guys.
I like to watch the live chases in California.
I like to
whenever
watch
they're-
the old Chips program.
Oh, I
Remember
love
that?
chips.
Remember the female on there? Kind of a deep-throated female. I forgot her.
No,
Yeah,
no, it was all about punching.
Oh, it was to you, but the female, they had her on for several years,
Right.
and she played. She was on pretty much every week. She was a routine, a regular cast. And I can't remember her name. Her last name and real last name is Hernandez,
Let me see if I can.
as I recall. But she was the Azalea Queen in the Wellington at one time when she was on Chips. And the funny thing was, and it started a tradition quickly.
Mhm.
They Wilmington PD had motorcycles, right?
Right.
And they used those during the parade or during the festival for escort. And they escorted the delegation around, the committee around from event to event, because there were so many places they had to go.
Randy Oakes. Would that be her?
No,
She's
no.
blonde.
I don't think, no.
Officer Bonnie Clark.
No, I don't think so. I'll double check. What's her real name? No, Randy Oakes is not it. Her last name is something else. But anyway, she's Hispanic and she lives in Florida,
okay.
lived in Florida. And she used to be a cheerleader for the Dallas Cowboys. So anyway,
Caitlyn Jenner used to be on there.
No.
Was that when she was Caitlyn or that when she?
whatever.
Okay.
Anywho, the motorcycles were there and she was oohing and ahhing the police bikes, right?
Right.
Obviously, because she played a patrol officer. She rode motorcycles in the Chips program. And so one of the officers said, could we get your picture? The delegation from the sheriff's office said, could we get you sitting on a bike? And she said, absolutely. She climbed aboard that bike, hiked her skirt up and jumped aboard that bike in a heartbeat. And she did a great pose. And from that point in time on, she became the lady the queen was always posing with the motorcycles for the motorcycle cops in Wilmington. It became a tradition.
Okay.
Now, you didn't find her name. I'll look for her later.
There was several different women, but
No.
they didn't have pictures. I couldn't tell.
This is one in particular. I'll look her up again. But she came down to I think the same year, she was down at the Sun Fun Festival in Myrtle Beach. And they had seen her. So she was a celebrity
me.
guest there. So I was down there covering that, shooting one of the events and doing photography at one of the events. And she came up behind me.
Well, you're talking about the
Years
Azalea Festival in Queen. I was tickled to see Elaine Hendricks crowned as the queen this year. She's a TV movie actress, and she recently.
Never heard of her.
Oh yeah, she's if you ever saw the movie The Parent Trap,
The original?
not the original, the remake.
She'd be really old if she was
The
the
remake.
original.
She played on that as the girlfriend, the sexy, sultry girlfriend who didn't want the kids, wanted to put the kids in boarding school or whatever, But it was a really good movie.
I saw the original.
And
I like
then
the original.
she's been on different movies since then and different shows here and there. But most recently, she competed last year in Dancing with the Stars. And she's an older woman. How old is she? She is she's a really pretty woman. But she was the recent queen, is the recent queen. And I would love to go out there and meet her. Love to go meet her.
Where?
In Wilmington.
That's over.
Oh, I know it's over with. She may still be there.
Not unless you got lost.
They have filming down there.
A Duplin County man's in the jailhouse in Greenville, charged with the murder of an elderly man last December. The body of 73-year-old Danny Foster was found in his apartment during a welfare check. Police say it appears he had been dead for about a day. Police have arrested 37-year-old Christopher Caton. He's charged with armed robbery and first-degree murder in connection with Foster's death. He's in jail without benefit of bond. First-degree armed robbery or armed robbery, along with first-degree murder, those are one of the circumstances that can go after the death penalty if they choose. That would be good. If they would implement it, that would be even better. In Beaufort County, a man's behind bars after police say he strangled his 4-year-old son. He strangled his 4-year-old son, according to police. 37-year-old Clifton Daniel faces a charge of attempted first-degree murder and assault by strangulation. Assault by strangulation is a very serious crime.
Yes, it is.
Okay? That is one that creates terror, fear, and all sorts of good stuff. That becomes a very serious event, and the law does not take kindly to it. Law enforcement was notified of the injuries and conducted an investigation, immediately going to the Daniel home during the investigation. The youngster had been treated at a medical facility, then released to his mother. The boy was at home when police arrived. The dad was arrested and remains in jail without benefit of bond. Here's one that really irritated me last night. An ex-cop, police officer from North Carolina, has been arrested in New Orleans. Well, he's arrested in Florida on charges that things that happened or were about to happen in New Orleans after police say he was planning to kill black people. What? Christopher Gillum, who has been living in Chapel Hill, was arrested at a motel in Florida where he had a pistol and a couple of hundred rounds of ammunition. Federal authorities told the sheriff's office that Gillum, who is white, was in the Florida Panhandle, quote, heading to do a mass shooting at a large festival in Louisiana. He offered no resistance when officers confronted him at the motel. Gillum was arrested as a fugitive from justice and will be extradited to Louisiana to face charges there. His family notified police that the man had a history of self-harm and had recently stated he wanted to harm black people. That's how cops were first notified. The federal guys got wind of it.
Good.
Gillum worked as a Chapel Hill police officer from 2004 until 2019. Joined the Carolina Beach Police Department the same year, working for 1 year before quitting. Then he worked as a non-sworn detention officer in the Orange County Sheriff's Office until 2024. He left from there, did nothing for a while, came back and spent a short time as a detention officer again in Orange County. Most recently, unemployed, police in Chapel Hill were told of his comments. They were in the process of attempting to obtain involuntary commitment papers this week when they learned that he had been taken into custody in Florida. This is the prime example, folks, of how a family, in this case, or friends, or police, or anyone can intervene to prevent a possible deadly event. If Gillum had managed to get to the festival in New Orleans that was coming up, a festival where traditionally as many as 150,000 people attend, no doubt there would have been a lot of people hurt or killed. No doubt this man would have died, either killed by police or by suicide. Whoever in his family cared enough about him and other people, they are the heroes in this story. If there were medals to be handed out, they should get one. I'm sure they don't feel great about what they did, but hopefully that they feel wonderful knowing that he will get some help. He will get help. Don't know whether it will help him or not, but he will get help and will one day, we hope, one day be able to return to society. Not as a police officer, that's done. If you know or suspect someone, anyone, if you know or you suspect that anyone you know who wants to hurt themselves or other people, don't wait. A fellow coworker, a family member, a school friend, matters not. Helping them to get on the road to recovery is so much better than hearing about it on the news, than looking at yourself every morning in the mirror thinking, if only. If only.
Well, he was planning a mass shooting,
That's
wasn't
what I just
he?
said. If
Yes.
you don't know who is
Just
to
verify.
call 911 is the fastest way
Mhm.
to get the ball rolling. Okay, always your friend, 911. They will direct you to the right people. They will connect you with the right people. They will take care of it. They will get somebody to help right away. If you call and you know somebody who's planning to hurt themselves or someone else, sing out. Okay, you will not be labeled a rat. They won't even have to know who you are. Just let people know. The Unabomber, for you folks who do not know, many years ago now, he was going around, he was sending letters by mail and packages by mail that blew up and killed people. They had pictures of him, but they were hood over the head, all sorts of stuff. They had notes, letters written by him. After several people were hit, targeted all over the country, police got wind from his brother. That handwriting, that note looks and sounds like something he would say. That's his style. They finally got the information they needed to go look for someone. They had no target. They had nobody. They were clueless as to who it was. It was so random, but it wasn't random. They just didn't find the plot at the time. So that's the way things work. If you know something, if you see something, say something.
I really do wish that someone would say something in the Nancy Guthrie
Yes.
disappearance.
Someone else outside that 2 or 3 people involved, they know.
I really, really wish that someone would come forward. I mean, there's over $1 million reward right now.
Yeah.
And that right there, there's new developments every day, but nothing proven. It's just talk.
Well, you got the stupid sheriff out there
He's stupid.
has interfered with this whole investigation. He actually should be unelected and sent to jail.
Well, there's a
for his
petition,
interference.
so I don't
Petitions
know.
don't count.
And right now he's under investigation by the ethics committee.
They need to investigate him and remove him and neutralize him.
Is an idiot.
That gives him too much credit.
The first 24 hours when they realized that they came out and said they believed it was a kidnapping, it should have been turned over to the FBI right then and there. He so mangled that investigation.
I'm gonna send this stuff to a private lab. They do good jobs.
You know, they did.
They work cheap for us.
Well, you know, they did scrapings on the blood that was on the front porch, but the doormat that had blood on it, they never took it. They just left it laying there. There's so much.
See, the blood, you need to take samples. You need to do that because you want to know how many individuals are involved. You want to know whether it's her blood, whether it's somebody else's blood, and how many different types of blood there are. You do that. But you have to be able to preserve the evidence, idiots.
Yeah. Like I said, it's a defense attorney's dream if they were to capture somebody and arrest them and charge them, because that investigation was...
Using the physical evidence they have obtained.
We're throwing this out.
Yeah. No, they will distort it. They want it introduced.
Of course they will.
They don't want it.
But a defense attorney is going to ask for it to be stricken. I'm going to tell you what right now. When you have a crime scene and you put up yellow tape and 12 hours later you take it down and let the news media, anybody who wants to, walk all over it, well.
But again, the defense attorney, whoever it will be, would just love for that to be introduced because they will destroy it on the stand. They will destroy the people who took the evidence.
That's what I'm saying,
Then it won't be thrown out. It'll just be, oh, you got 12 people on a jury. They're saying, I don't know that they did this right. If they had done
throw it out.
Yeah, we're going to ignore this. This is just, it's tainted. And that word tainted, it will come up a lot.
Well, the whole investigation was bad.
Screwed up. Senator Chucky Schumer is not making a lot of friends among law enforcement and none among federal immigration agents. The less than smart senator from New York said that Border Patrol and ICE are agencies that no longer is respected by anyone in this country. Didn't set too well with the head of Homeland Security. He's new to the job, Secretary Mark Wayne Mullins returned fire when during an interview he said, his words, "It takes a lot to get me upset, but Chuck Schumer, No one respects you. The definition of a lying scumbag politician, that is you. That sounds like me saying it, doesn't it? Did I write that for him? I thought I was the only leftover who uses scumbag and mixes it with politician, but I was wrong. Yay! Mark Wayne Mullins, if you're listening, or again, let me know what else you need. I'll be glad to provide you your copy. But you're absolutely right. Who really has much, if any, respect for Schumer? Well, I'm hearing crickets. Who has any respect for Chuck Schumer?
We have crickets. We have crickets.
Crickets.
We have crickets.
Let me hear. That's about all we've got. That's the only thing Schumer's got. Crickets.
We have crickets.
As a politician these days, there are not many that people care for. That's a problem. Some say they're all corrupt. I disagree. But I don't give many of those in Washington a lot of respect. I will admit to that. And one of the reasons is Chuck Schumer. People like him. And his cohorts, his partners in crime there, pardon that pun, that might be too accurate. The people he works with, they cover for him by ignoring him, most of them. They just let him be. He's Chuck Schumer. The likes of Chuck Schumer need to go. And need to take a bunch with you. Those individuals, they're just not doing the jobs that we hired them to do.
He needs to retire. He needs to go on.
They're too quick. They're too quick to be negative about everything. We are 6 months into the new fiscal year, and we don't have a budget. Why? Because government agents are, for the first time in many years, doing their jobs. They've been told to get the work done. They are all arresting illegal aliens. They're deporting those who have no business being in this country. They are doing now what they've been paid to do, but forced not to do by political hacks for way too long.
I don't know.
If Schumer and others would read the Constitution and read the oaths of office that members of our armed forces and police agencies they have to take, you might understand that protecting the borders of this nation from foreign attack is pretty high on the list of priorities our founding fathers wanted. And how dare you, Mr. Schumer, think you have even a small percentage of the smarts, of the foresight that those great men had more than 250 years ago. In case no one else has told you, let me be the first. You do not.
I don't know.
Okay. We have a caller. Good morning. You're live and local.
Good morning, live and local.
How are you?
How are you?
Oh, I don't know. Joy to the world.
Yes.
What's going on, Joy? Where have you been? Hiding?
No, I've been watching you. I just kept my mouth shut.
Lee, would you please call the sheriff's office and cancel that bowl over her? She's no longer missing in action. We got her. How you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. I know you were talking about Schumer, and I apologize, but
that's all right.
I didn't catch.
I talk about everybody.
I went back to the beginning of the show because, and then it's about Charlie.
Yeah, Charlie's an interesting guy, and I don't dislike Charlie. Some people may think so. I don't dislike him. I don't agree with him.
Yeah, I see. This is how I see Charlie. Hey, Charlie, I don't know if he's listening or he might not be listening. Charlie, I think Charlie has some very deep-rooted trauma in his life that he's never dealt with. Maybe some bad things happened. I don't really. I'm not. I think Charlie is a good person. I think, but
yes.
But I think I don't know how to say this without he doesn't see that Charlie doesn't see that he needs any type of counseling. I mean, he already said that he doesn't believe in this and he doesn't believe in that and he doesn't believe in this. I have a family member that has schizophrenia and mental illness, and I mean, and bipolar, different people I've met, and PTSD, and I mean, there's nothing wrong. I mean, you know, if you've got something mentally wrong with you, or I'm not saying mentally, I'm just saying that your mind and your life is not like other people's. I mean, he said that he forgives people, but you forgive people, and you're supposed to forgive and forget. You don't go and attack with vengeance. It'll make sense to what I'm even trying to say without saying anything. Yeah. And until he recognizes the fact that, not him, but even including myself, we've all gone through some issues in our lives. Most people have, and there's nothing wrong with reaching out and going to counseling, because it's a disease of the mind, just like cancers of the body or whatever. I mean, they wouldn't have it in all these. What you suggested in the beginning, I wish Charlie. I can almost see Charlie, and I don't mean this as anything against Charlie, because I can sort of see him a bunch of different diagnoses, but I think a lot of them could stem from PTSD that's causing some of these problems. And then he talked about, and Lee hit on it when she talked about lonely, because he has mentioned that he's called several radio shows and talks to them in Australia, different places. And I think
at weird times of the day and night.
Yeah, and because if he's saying, one time he says he was here, one time he says he was there, and I would look at the clock and I'm thinking, well, you're 3 hours behind if you're here, and you're 2 hours behind if you're here. So I don't really know if Charlie. Charlie is a good person.
I think he
does
is.
some funny things, and I love to hear him when he does his impersonations. But I really wish he could see what others see, so he could be happy, because he's not happy.
Yeah. It would be nice if he would spend, and I agree with you, I like his talents. It would be great if he would spend his time and effort trying to propel those talents into his daily life, instead of letting everything else ruin his talents, his God-given talents that he has.
Yeah, because you could tell whatever day he's in, one day he might be this way, and then one day he might be the next. Of course, we don't know what's going on in his life, but he is a good person.
He is.
But I honestly, in my heart, only because I've dealt with and have family members that have some of the same issues that Charlie exhibits, and I'm not saying that Charlie has them. I'm just saying I've watched. He needs someone he can just go and sit down and just lay it all out. Someone that he can trust and work through some of whatever he's going through.
Sure.
But I don't know if he recognizes. I mean, he asked you what y'all thought, so I'm just going to tell him what I'm thinking. I mean, as a person to a person, I feel like I'm a good person. But
no doubt.
I mean, we've all done things in our lives that, depression, or, I mean, you can, there's a bunch of things that go along with
Joy,
that cause you to do things.
Joy, have you ever had anything done to you so horrific that at the time that they were done, you would have done pretty much anything to somebody who created that kind of a problem for you at the time, if you had the opportunity?
Yes, sir. I had a family member that was molested by another individual at a very young age, and at the moment that I heard it, my first instinct was to go and kill that person.
Yeah.
And it was like 30 years after the incident happened.
Oh, really?
But yes, sir. And when you start into counseling, they bring up a lot of different things in people's lives that they haven't dealt with that cause them to do other things. Let's say that you self-medicate illegally with drugs because you don't want to remember that pain, and you've never dealt with those types of issues.
Kind of a normal excuse for doing that, is, to be honest with you.
I'm sorry, sir?
I think self-medicating with anything is kind of a regular, normal excuse for doing that.
Sir.
Not.
Yes, sir.
I can find a lot of things that would cause me to want to go do whatever, to get rid of the memories.
Me too.
It's easy to do.
Me too. But he, I really wish he would take what good he has in him. He, like I say, he is good, but like the talent that he has, and turn that all around. And I think if he could use it into a more positive, because it seems like everything he's gone through has been, by what he tells us, it's like he's
He's
reaching out for
a
help,
walking,
but he doesn't.
yeah, he's a walking definition of schizophrenia.
Yes, and I was going to say that and bipolar. I can see that, and I can see some PTSD also.
Mhm.
I mean, I can see a bunch of different things, but I'm not. Of course, I'm not a medical doctor, but I've lived and seen people that have some of the same issues, or not the same issues, I should say, that are good people. Good people have things happen to them
Of course
that
they do.
cause them to be bad people.
All right, Joey. Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you, Joy.
And you get back on Schumer, you can sort of compare.
Oh, I finished with him. I've already I've dismissed him. Shall we say, dismissed? You're dismissed. Go away.
Look, he I think Schumer needs to be in counseling too, to be perfectly honest with you. But anyways, y'all have a good weekend. But I
You
just
too.
had a concern for Charlie.
It'd be fun to
I
have.
don't know.
It'd be fun to have old Chucky sitting across the table from me for a while, where he couldn't get out, so we could ask him
Oh,
questions.
not you, Lord
Mm-mm.
Jesus,
Mm-mm.
poor Lee.
What?
Look,
Mm-mm.
put you on the spot, Lee.
Yeah, did you think he got the side eye for that? I'm like, seriously?
Look,
You don't think I can handle Chucky Schumer?
No, I'm talking about you
Oh, I
throwing
know
me
you
into
can.
it this morning,
Oh well,
into the lion's den.
that was just fun.
Lee, what would you
Some-
think?
Wafer's like a devil.
Yes.
Devil's advocate. What he?
Well, yeah, I
can
agree
see
with
it.
that.
I'm
Sometimes.
over your time. Don't put me in this.
She's backing away. She tried to run out the door one time. She found out it was locked.
You saw that stink eye,
You're
Joy?
watching and you watched for years, and you can see what's going on.
I
around
gave him
there.
the stink eye on that one.
I think
That's the reason she searched every morning and her pepper spray is removed.
I can see
From
why.
what I heard, their gun's no problem. As long as she's shooting at me, I'm perfectly safe.
That's not true.
Anyway,
I used to teach firearms.
look, I hope you're far away where she can't kick you under the table.
Guns at the table?
If you're, I said, I hope you're far away enough from her that she can't kick you under the table.
Oh, kick me under the table.
Oh, no, he's close enough, believe me.
No, there are too many. There's Mike stands down there. There's wires, and then there's one bare wire down there that's containing
I'm sure
440
she would-
volts.
I'm sure she would love to. Many times going there because I'm thinking, oh, Lee, you can't get to him, can you? But anyways, that was all. Y'all have a good weekend.
You too, Joy. Have a
Thank you,
blessed
Joy.
weekend.
I just hope I don't know.
Well,
It'll work out.
I'm sure he'll be
Yeah,
fine.
yeah. But I just want him to know he's a good person.
And what I like
I'm a
about
good person.
what I like about Charlie, he's he has humor, and if he would channel that humor, and channel the humor, and that would knock out a whole lot of the issues. Lee will tell you, I love humor, and I use it as an escape mechanism to keep me from being mean to me all the time. I'm not mean to other people very often, but it keeps me from.
You be a little bit mean, but
Who, me?
you compose not mean, but I could tell when you've had enough, and you're ready. Let's move on.
Well, when I've had enough, enough is enough, and I stop whatever is happening, and I can stop whatever is happening.
That's right, Click. You want me to hang up? Goodbye. Have a good weekend.
You too.
Thank you, Joy. Have a great weekend.
Thank
Till
you,
Don's
guys.
Bye.
I'll do it.
Bye. Real quick, like here, before we get to our guest here, we got a fine guy. He's probably thinking about, I need to get out of here right
Yeah,
now.
he's like already. I don't know. about this place.
WCTI, our friends over there in New Bern. It's Weather Radio Wednesday coming up for 2026. We got four, count them, four. There may be one more added, but we know of 4 right now locations and the dates for them to come out and set up to do weather radio programming. Now, we'll be joined by members of the Onslow Amateur Radio Club at each of these locations. These guys I'm sorry, I'm one of them. You're one of them. You haven't reached the geek status yet, but you will get there. That's Lee, but she likes to talk, so she's over there. But some of us have got things. I mean, when I sit around here and I've got a pair of pliers right here, just in case I need them while we're on the air. I got a little tiny wrench right over here. I'm sure I got screwdrivers and all sorts of other stuff over here. Got a magnifying glass so I can't, in case I can't read something. And I have one ham radio over here on the desk, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think over there, operational. That's not including the ones in the Jeep. So we're geeks. We're geeks. What that means is some of us are going to show up, members of the club going to show up with Donnie Cox from WCTI. The first one's May 6th, coming up right around the corner. What is it, 2 weeks away? Almost 2 weeks away, 10 days away. Going to be at the Richlands Piggly Wiggly. Richlands in Piggly Wiggly. Guess where that Piggly Wiggly is?
In Richlands?
Thank you.
Didn't you just say, where's the Richlands
I
Piggly
was
Wiggly?
checking to see if you're paying any attention.
I'm putting Ken's information up here.
Anyway, at that time, you can bring your weather radios. If you don't have one or if yours is old, let me strongly suggest you get a new one, because not that they wear out, because I've got some that have been around for 25 years, but they don't wear out necessarily. Sometimes things will happen. Coffee spills in them. The dog chews the
Why is it
antennas
always
off,
the
whatever. But the coffee is, with sugar in it, you can't fix it. When the radios improve every year or 3 or 4 or 5 years, they will add some new features to it that make them more friendly to us, user friendly, they call it.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, in the beginning, the radio would go off in case there was a tornado or some kind of a weather alert or whatever. It would go off, it would alert you to it, and then it would open up and it would give you the message, give you an audio message, right? And then you would have to shut it down yourself. So you have to get up, walk across the room, or get out of bed, walk across the room, look for it, hit your toe, stumble across the cat, and then turn the radio off. You don't have to do that anymore. The new ones, once the message is over, they reset. They rearm themselves to alert time. So that's the one reason to buy a new one in case you have got an old one. But either way, the members of the Ham Club will be joining Donnie Cox at the Piggly Wiggly on May 6th here in Richlands. And you can buy the radios in the store. You can order them online if you want to in advance. You can buy them wherever you want. I strongly suggest the Midland radios. They're easier to program. They're very inexpensive, and they will last you for many, many, many years. If you bring your own, please have the batteries that are required in them. And don't, please, if you haven't taken those batteries out since 2006, take them out and then get yourself some baking soda solution with water and clean the contacts of the radio, because there's going to be crud in there. All right. Get them clean. Come in with fresh batteries. They can be in a little Ziploc bag. You don't have to put them in. Just bring all that mess with you. That's going to be May 6th at the Richlands Piggly Wiggly. Time starts at 11 a.m. Last till 6:30. And they will be there at that time. New Bern, a week later, the 13th, downtown Ace Hardware. Week after that, the 20th, at the Emerald Isle Sound Ace Hardware. And on the 27th, back to Jaybird, Jacksonville Ace Hardware. That's on Henderson Drive across from the Jacksonville High School. I think the address is like 1050 or something like that.
1050 Henderson Drive.
Okay.
Now let's get to some good stuff.
We got good news.
Yes, we do.
We got great news.
We have, when we need, he brought his Bible. We need some preaching this morning. We need some prayers.
How you doing, kid?
Well, I walked in and the lady you were talking to last said that you're the devil, and then you have a grenade on the table. So I figured I'm in for it this morning. Is that right?
You're military, right?
I was, yes, sir.
Okay. No, I know you was. You are.
Well,
Yeah,
we really set a great first impression.
Now, this hand grenade over here, I've had people in the past pick up a hand grenade when I worked at public coming in all the time. Some people would look at that and say, is that real? I said, yeah. Well, what happens if I pick it up? Nothing. Okay, so it's safe. I said, I didn't say that. But let me just give you one piece of advice. If you pull that little round thing, this one is called the little plate, and then the thing pops up and you see me running, try to keep up.
You got about 3 seconds.
Nobody ever touches it at that point in time.
We used to have shirts we wore at the post office. The back of them said, if you see me running, follow me.
Yeah.
Try to keep up.
Stop, drop, and roll. Good morning, Ken. We
Good
have
morning.
Ken. Your last name,
Lovell.
Lovell.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
I just want to make sure I
That's
had it
what,
right.
that's what
Ken
I've been
Lovell.
saying.
Well, that's what we've been saying, but I
Somebody else told me it was Lovell.
No, I'm not French. That's the way I
Yes.
try to help people remember. It sounds like shovel.
Well,
Yep.
when we had made mention that you were coming on the show, somebody thought it was actually the astronaut.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, take us to the moon.
Huh.
Anyway, you are
Bring us
the
back.
director. You're commonly known around the high schools as the FCA man, right?
The FCA guy.
The
You got it.
FCA guy, right.
Here comes the FCA guy.
Yeah.
And you're the director of the Coastal North Carolina FCA, which is the the Fellowship of Christian Athletes.
You nailed it.
So we welcome you here
Well,
this
thanks
morning.
for having me.
Do you want me to do controversy first?
Do I want controversy
Yeah.
first?
What?
Let's do it.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
What do you think about all the y'all can't say prayers when you get out there on the ball field?
Mm. Yeah, the way the laws are written can really be offensive to a Christian who's
Uh-huh.
trying to get the good news out.
Uh-huh.
But
Right.
I understand it that if it was carte blanche, you can do whatever you want. There's a whole lot of bad news out there that could be also preached to our kids
Yep.
and push a lie that there would be no barrier against. So what I'm okay with it because what makes FCA special, I guess I should say what makes it legal is that we're a student-led club on campuses. But that's what makes it powerful because now what we're doing is raising up a young generation to own their own faith
Yep.
and equip and empower them to share it with their teammates. And all we do as adults is just guide, assist, resource, coach, but we're not the primary ones doing it
Right.
because the law prevents it. But that's okay because, again, we're doing something pretty special in the lives of the kids themselves.
Give them the opportunity
Yeah.
to do right.
Yeah.
That's always good. Give people the opportunity to do wrong and the motive and opportunity. We know what ends up then if they don't have a good background and a good bring-in. If you aren't doing things like the FCA is doing, I appreciate what you guys are doing.
Well,
Right,
the coolest thing about it is we go to them where they are.
Mhm.
I was in a weight room with a football team just yesterday, all the way up in Sampson County. And I told them, I said, this is what's so special about Christ is when you read in John 1 that the word became flesh and dwelt among us, you can unpack that in translation to understand that what Jesus did is pitch his tent where we are. Because throughout the Old Testament, as people like you and me wandered through the wilderness, trying to figure out how to trust God, we had the tent of meeting we always had to go to be in the presence of God. Well, now the presence of God came to us. So in FCA, we get to model that and going to people where they are. Yes, geographically, but meeting them wherever they are and their understanding of Christ. And just yesterday, 2 young men gave their life to the Lord for the very first time in their lives in a weight room at a high school
Oh, really?
during
Wow.
school hours.
Oh,
Happens every day
no
around here.
wonder you were happy.
Goosebumps.
Yeah, for sure.
Give
And
me goosebumps.
and then you find out that one of the kids had his mother try to take his life last week.
Mm.
And so now he's trying to figure out where to live and the coach is trying to work all that stuff. This happens in several teams
Wow.
every year all
So
around
he
our
has,
area.
He has athletics to escape from
He
that
does.
kind of a lifestyle.
He does.
That happens a lot too.
It happens a ton.
Whether it's academic issues,
hmm
home issues.
That's right.
I got a place to hide
That's right.
in plain sight, but I got a place to go to
Yeah.
to get away from it.
And so, to find Christ in a weight room, he didn't have to go anywhere.
Wow.
Christ
What
came
a
to him.
Story.
And that's what we do.
Well, that is a wonderful story.
Now, are you doing mainly high schools? You doing all schools? You doing all the schools in the county?
Now, that's a great question. Coastal North Carolina FCA is comprised of 4 counties. It's very similar to the legal district. It's Onslow, Jones, Duplin, and Sampson.
You got perfect.
Yeah. And the Marine in me understands the idea of having a foothold here on the beach and then pushing inland a
There
little
you
bit,
go.
right? And
Okay.
You and the district attorney.
yes, sir. So we have 4 counties, and campus ministry is really only just one of about 5 or 6 different lanes, we would say, or pillars of ministry we do in sport. Some of the newest ones, which is something I'm really excited about to talk about this morning, is outdoor ministry. So there are athletes that hunt and fish competitively or recreationally, but these folks are out there, as my area rep says for outdoors. He says, they're out there everywhere between hunt camps and boat ramps. And just like a football team in a weight room, we're going to go to them where they are. I had a guy call me the other day saying his pastor's trying to help him get a small group started. I think we all understand that in the church, that we're trying to get out of the rows and pews and get into circles and disciple one another. And he's just trying to figure out, like everybody does, when in the world am I going to do that? What day of the week, what night? Is it my house or your house? And everybody's so busy these days. We're trying to figure out where to squeeze something in like that. In FCA, what we do is equip him to do it where he already is. So just like that football team. So I said, man, what does it look like for you and the boys to get around the tailgate, get in the word together, have a devotional that kind of uses outdoor terms and languages and things like that? That's how Jesus taught in parables, right? Things you understand. What would it look like to use those things to introduce something deeper about what Christ is trying to get you to live out in your life, and then go chase down whatever animal you want? He says, man, I think this is like everything I've been looking for. It's like, so I love that about what we do and meeting people where they are. So back to your question, campus ministry is part of it. We don't have any colleges here, but we do have the Ospreys that I would love to. I see your signs and stuff up around here. That's an example of fans. Sort of that pro and elite-ish kind of lane where we could easily get in and serve them. We have all abilities now, which is what FCA's term is for kids with disabilities. The mantra, if you will, is we want to tear the roof off. We don't want these kids and these families to be excluded and kept out because there's no room for them, right? So I was just at a huddle at Richlands 2 weeks ago, and 7 or 8 or 9 of those kids that are led by an EC teacher, they're in there in the huddle, sitting front row, interacting, participating, and they're not pushed out by their classmates. They're welcomed in. It's everything together in Christ is what we stand on as a ministry here locally. So yeah, outdoors, all abilities. We have a guy on our staff now who's a combat sports representative. So he's in all the gyms that do karate, taekwondo, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, all that stuff. And he is
the events that they fight, but they come out friends.
Yeah, that's right. I could never understand how these professional fighters are so good, because I'm like, I need you to, as you said earlier, Rayford, it was like, I need you to rear end me or something to get me ready to fight. I don't know. Yeah, I can't shake your hand and then just start punching you.
Yeah. They do something.
Yeah, but we have a guy on our team too that's doing coach-specific ministry now. He's a 30-year coach, retiring now in the school system. So he's going to really help us level up and understand coaches' lives and how we can minister to them and their families better. We have the FCA Sports now, which is basically, if you were to look at or I-9 or something like that in a rec sense. Well, we have discovered as a ministry that the average, most participatory age range for kids in sports in the world today is between 8 and 12. And then the average age they make a decision for Christ is around 10. They sort of get their worldview locked in around that 12 to 13 range. So what we realized, if we were only doing campus ministry, which meant middle school and high school, we're not even talking to these kids until they're in school, because the average age of kids stops playing sports is around that 13 age range. So that's middle school tryouts. For example, 75 girls in a middle school here in Onslow County will try out for the volleyball team. Only 10 or 12 will make the team.
Right.
Really?
So what happens to those other 60 girls? If we're only waiting until they're on the team to talk to them, we're missing a huge audience, and we're getting them at the kind of at that phase of their life where they're making a worldview decision that will stay with them a long time. So if FCA can get into that rec sport league, club, travel ball, all that stuff, and have our own programs, then what you're doing is you're building the whole thing on the foundation of Christ, and you're competing missionally. So when we travel, our volleyball club will show up in Atlanta. They've been up in Pennsylvania. They go to Richmond. They go to Charlotte. I mean, they're all over the region. And when they travel, they engage their opponents with the gospel. They invite them in to pray pre-match. They play like they are following Christ. They're influencing people. And referees at these tournaments are getting so accustomed to what FCA sports looks like that they sort of stop the pregame warm-ups and ask us, like, you all want to get your prayer in before we play? Mm-hmm. Like, it's a culture shift that we're making in the club world. Okay. And so that's all FCA today. Yeah, if you've known FCA for 15 years or longer-ish, but you haven't really been connected to us that much over the last 10 years, you've missed a lot. There's a lot of changes.
Obviously, yes. Now, you're a nonprofit organization, and you operate mainly on fundraisers and donations, correct?
We 100% exist off of donations from the community. We're here because the community says so. Yep.
That's right. So how long have you been actually operating in this area?
Me personally, 10 and a half years, but FCA probably existed here some 20 or 30 years before me. And again, that was kind of that big shift right about the time I got hired is when FCA started making this big swing to do things a lot different. So what people would have known FCA for would have only been a small group of kids studying the Bible together on a school campus. And back then when I took over, we had 9 schools that had FCA active in the area. And today we have 35 out of the 52 that I'm responsible for now. So God is really growing something special. He's really, bringing faith alive in young people and coaches. And, what FCA gives them is a place to really be empowered to live their faith out in sport. And we know this. Coaches and athletes have influence. I see you guys, wearing your red. I remember just a couple of years ago, Jacksonville is
Friday is all red.
We're Cardinal.
I know you are.
You knew that. You saw us at the ball games. His wife.
I think it was the Eastern Alamance game. I could be wrong, but it was a few years ago in the playoffs when the game was over. The team, whoever they were playing, had a chance to win and didn't, and so those players are laid out all over the ground in defeat.
Right.
Jacksonville players, instead of just celebrating, there's this picture that's out there that was sent to me.
I remember that.
Where they're all kneeling down, caring for their opponent.
Yes.
Those things don't happen just because mom and dad raised them well, but those are overflows of a walk with Christ that Bo and that program have had for a long time.
I watch every time, and on the line, you got 2 teams facing each other. I mean, they're going to war.
Yep.
Literally, they're going to war. That's what they do. They go to war. They're going to win. And in the past, we know, especially with those of us who had microphones that were set out there where we could hear what was going on. There were some really bad things that were said from one opponent to another. I don't know, but I don't see the kind of reaction that I used to see that those exchange of words caused. Am I missing something, or am I just not hearing it, or is there a change in the way they operate?
Yeah, there's a change, and that's
good.
So we say a lot that, like, we're going to compete for the good of the game. You're right. I mean, they're opponents, and one's trying to win, but we're going to be together in Christ for the glory of God. So what you see in that sense, where the language starts to not be, you don't hear it as much, and you don't see the physical altercations, because those things are outbursts of anger. That's a work of the flesh.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. But if you're walking with Christ regularly, week in and week out, you're spending time in prayer and devotionals that sow seeds. We believe that those young men in that program and several boys and girls in several programs all over the area are like this, where it's good soil here. The ground is being tilled so that when the heat of the moment happens in competition, what it is a fruit of the Spirit that is being expressed. And that's what people see. And that's why we say coaches and athletes have influence. If you're in the stands and you see, in this case, Jacksonville High School facing whoever, and they're facing someone who opposes them, something you and I deal with every single day, even if it's just somebody driving slower than I want them to on Western Boulevard.
Happens all the time.
You face somebody who opposes you.
Right.
They're showing you how to do that in Christ. They're showing you how to come together in Christ, regardless if your dad owns the building, built the building, or cleans the building. It doesn't matter how much money you make. It doesn't matter what skin color you are. We are together in Christ with one common goal, to glorify him. And so teams get that. They all come together, wear the same jersey color to accomplish a goal, to win.
Absolutely.
Right. So praise be to God who gives us the victory in Christ Jesus. And that's sports, faith-based sports that we're trying to really create as a matter of culture around here.
Well, over the last couple of years, we've noticed that, especially last year, we noticed a major shift in the way that the teammates treated each other, the way they treated the opposing team. They were just so gracious, so caring. And it just, the camaraderie was just, and you could see that when they're out there, even if it was a bad play, they're still, patting each other on the back. It'll be okay. And the opposing team, sometimes things would get a little rowdy, but everything mellowed right out. And we noticed that last year. It was huge.
I think one of the greatest things that I've seen is at the end of the game, when both teams are meeting each other, shaking hands.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's really unique about Jacksonville is a lot of these kids played rec ball together. Whether you're North Side or White Oak or Jacksonville, like, these kids have known each other a long time.
Right.
In a lot of cases, not all of them, because there's we're a very transient community with the Marine Corps, but a lot of them have known each other a long time, and so they know who they're facing, on who's wearing the other jersey color, and it is really special to see them put aside the results of the game and focus on each other.
It's over. Let's go.
And you,
Plan for the next one.
That's right.
and you don't hear about behind the scenes. Like I've heard stories from a Jacksonville parent where a Jacksonville player had been hurt, had surgery, and another school like Northside has come to their house and left things like Gatorade,
Really?
gift cards, food, snacks,
Yeah.
and all our high schools together. I mean, the way they help each other is just amazing.
Well,
stories.
one of my absolute favorite stories to tell is when East Duplin High School was into the playoffs. They reached the East Regional Final in 2017 and ended up going to the state championship that year. But their opponent was North Davidson High School. And East Duplin has the thing like every team does where they run out of the chute, out of the banner pregame, and the music's playing and cheerleaders are jumping up and down. And well, East Duplin has this thing where they give a sledgehammer to one player that leads the team out. He'll run out and drop that sledgehammer and the team runs out. Well, East Duplin, as they were growing in their walk with Christ. Now, this is 2017, so I've only been at this a couple of years at that point. But Coach Holly and the boys, they embraced everything that I'm talking about and ran with that for a year and a half or so. And they dropped the sledgehammer, and they would run to midfield to gather up together to pray pregame. Well, North Davidson had come out first. They're jumping up and down 30, 40, 50-yard line, pregame hype, and state championship on the line. East Duplin runs out. And all they see, and I watched this unfold, they see East Duplin running basically straight at them with the lead guy carrying a sledgehammer.
Yeah.
You saw North Davidson players start to posture like they're about to fight. And when that lead guy gets to midfield, he kneels down, everybody gathers around him and they pray. And you saw the whole demeanor of North Davidson change. Well, the game was one of the best games I've ever watched in high school football. Wow. North Davidson could have, they kind of modeled like Ohio State or something. Right. I mean, they were a very legit, different kind of program than Eastern North Carolina, ground and pound style of football. And so as the game goes on, East Duplin continued to just have so many different examples where they treated their opponent with the face of Christ. Game is over. East Duplin wins, goes to the state championship. Rest is history. Well, I'm at a Eastern North Carolina FCA staff retreat thing we were doing in the Outer Banks all the way in like maybe March or April the following year. And I was telling this story a little bit. One of my teammates who I had not met yet before leans back. He goes, "Is East Duplin one of your teams?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "Man, North Davidson came back different from their time in Beulahville." He says, "The doors of ministry have opened for me at that campus. They want to be more like that." And he was telling all these stories. Well, it gets better because to your point about other teams coming to the aid, you fast forward to October of 2018 and we get hit with Hurricane Florence.
Right.
As you might remember, Duplin County was flooded catastrophically, right?
Right, yes.
And as the call went out, as most people did, to what they need in cleaning supplies and water and all the things to help them recover, this truck, like pallet truck type truck, moving truck, shows up at East Duplin High School filled with supplies that East Duplin needed to help recover. The truck came from North Davidson High School. The team that got beat in the East Regional Final and couldn't go to the state championship was so influenced by the Christian behavior of a football team they played that they were one of the ones to come to their aid when they needed it. And that is why we say we change the game. This is what the Lord does.
Yeah, you tearing up. I'm tearing up. Stop. Don't look at me.
Yeah.
That is what life is supposed to be
That's
about.
right.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Football is a game, but it's it's a game.
Mm-hmm.
God, it is such a good game. You play hard, you celebrate together. Everybody celebrates one way or the other. There's always next year.
Yeah.
There's, the next game, the next year, whatever, may turn around for them the next go round. So, but either way, they're better people for it.
So do you meet the students like after school, like when they're practicing? How does all that work?
Yeah.
How do you
It's a great question.
involve them?
One of the things I really say I did stumble into, because early on with FCA, I didn't know what I was doing. I was really just trying to figure this thing out and seek the Lord for what I thought he was revealing to me that could be. And I noticed that not a lot of athletes or coaches were attending FCA, because back then it was, again, that Bible study on campus. And when I went to teams and asked them why, what we found out was that when FCA was meeting back then, it was after school.
Right.
And of course, that's when all the practices begin, or the teams are getting on the bus to go travel and play. So I said, well, what if we just do FCA on your team? It goes where you go, when you go. You thread it into what you do rather than having to stop and go somewhere else.
Genius.
Again, Jesus pitched his tent where we are.
And go.
And I will tell you, nobody taught me that. I hadn't been sitting down strategizing. It was just kind of a spur of the moment conversation. It was so well received by one coach. I went to the next one and the next one and the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was like, I think there's something to this. Next thing you know, that 11 huddles, 9 schools, 2 coach huddles turned into 185 different environments where teams are gathering together under this model. I mean, I love to share that stat, but truthfully, it was more than I could handle. And we didn't handle it well. We didn't have the resources or the funding or the time to really shepherd those things in the way that we would want. And so we learned a lot through that. But what we've turned into now is to your question about when do they meet, there's a lot of models. Some do meet before school, some do meet after school, but the most popular model are the administrators in our community that carve out a time during the school day that is like every school calls it something different, power hour, refresh, or lead. And I mean, every school's got a different term, but it's kind of like a club hour or a study hall hour that kids can choose where they want to go and what they want to do during that hour during the school day.
Call it anything that does not set off the internet for the negative nannies out there.
For sure. And you're right, because they're out there looking for us.
Looking for
and our strongest huddles meet during the school day. We'll have anywhere between 150 and 200 kids middle of the school day that choose FCA as the place they want to go to. And so that's what we call the multi-sport huddle. So anybody and everybody can come. But then we also have the team huddles, like a Jacksonville football team model, where they pick a day of the week. Jacksonville does it on Wednesdays usually, where they'll pick a day where before practice they get out there and warm up, and then they gather together. Bo's kind of planting some seeds and getting their heads right for what we're going to do today. And then they have either someone come in or one of the boys gets up and gives a message. And I'll tell you one thing about Bo that always makes me laugh is when coaches will or the kids will invite me in to do a team devotional. I'll ask them, what can I speak on? Like, what are you guys going through culturally? What are you working on? What are you struggling with this week? Like, let me pray about that thing and give a message that would be relevant to what you're going through. And Bo is notorious for being one of those coaches that says, I'll just come and do whatever the Lord lays on your heart. And I've always laughed with him because I said, well, Bo, I do this for a living. Like, there's a whole lot of things going on in my heart. Can you give me at least like an idea of what you would want to hear? He goes, no, you got it. And so I've gotten to the point now where it's actually been very special for my own faith, because I will pray and pray and pray and ask the Lord to help me understand who Jacksonville is at the heart. What do they need to hear? Don't let me just do a devotional that checks a box for me or takes a picture and I can share with you guys like, hey, I'm out there sharing God's word, but that it's actually relevantly impactful to them. So I've learned to do that. I give a devotional, and then time and time and time again, I turn around, and when Bo shakes my hand, he goes, you have no idea how much we needed that. Or he'll look at the team like, hey, what have we been talking about all week? And it'll be the very thing I preached on.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, so God is so good like that. And it's really neat to see the living word back up something that they're already working on anyway.
Kind of like having an electronic monitoring device behind the scenes, right?
Yeah.
Where they don't know you're listening.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, I'm glad you're doing that kind of work. It's needed in more ways than one. It's needed for the future of both the athletes, because we, look at the professional athletes we read about and hear about with drugs and everything else, and how much of a decline they make. There was a kid attended Dixon a few years back, great athlete, star football player, graduated, and he was a perfect kid, absolutely perfect kid during all those years. He got hooked up with a bad group.
Yep.
And he died.
Joy again.
Yeah.
He just had a overdose.
Yeah.
Major overdose.
I know. I was there for that.
You remember that?
I do. I've had to speak at a couple funerals. I wish I could tell you that everything is just perfect, but the influences of the world are strong in some of these kids.
The outside influences after they leave the flock.
That's exactly right.
When they leave the flock, there are so many excuses for human beings that are out there waiting, because coming from another career, I know those people had to deal with those people the hard way.
Yeah.
It just makes you mad. So I'm tainted.
Yeah.
And that's the bad thing. Joy, you have a question or a comment?
Yes. First of all, I want to thank Ken for his 30-day travel. That was very inspirational when he went off alone into the mountains of North Carolina. Am I correct with that, Mr. Lovell?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for that.
Yes, and I want you to know that I watched you. I tried to catch you every day, even through all your adversity. the Lord, I feel like I'm good friends with Nancy Anderton when she was with FCA years ago before you got here. And I was glad to watch you on your travels where you went out with really absolutely hardly anything, and then you get injured. And no matter what, your perseverance, your commitment, your dedication, and the people that God put in your life, you are where you need to be, and God has you there for a reason. And you have shown so many people what God can and will do if you just trust and believe in Him. Because there were days that I loaded you and I thought, oh my goodness, is he going to make it that next step or not? And then when you got the cane, and then when you hurt your ankle, but we've got a good God, and I think that, well, I no doubt that you are where God wants you to be, and touching the lives of these young people that are probably adults and young people, I'm sure. And I just want to thank you for inspiring the inspiration and what I learned from your experience that you went through, which was really a really tough trip. And I thank you for that. And hopefully a lot of your kids watch you on your trails, and it meant a lot to me. It touched my heart, and trust me, you are where God wants you to be at this point in time in your life.
Thank you so much for taking time
Thank
to
you,
call and
Joy.
encourage me.
Joy, we do appreciate that, and he does
Yes,
as
we
well.
do.
That's
Yes, we do.
that's a real person out there talking.
Right.
Those are the people we're trying to reach. You're trying to reach.
Yeah.
So, Joy,
You're welcome.
thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you,
Right.
Mr. Lovell.
Thank
Keep on.
Yes, ma'am.
He'll be doing that, no doubt about it. So,
Well, I've been visiting your website, which I shared with all our social media this morning. Carolina's FCA.
No, Coastal.
Coastal.
Yeah, NCFCA.
Oh, wait a minute. How did I get? I had Coastal. Right here it is. Right here it
You
is.
got a 404 alert now.
Yeah, no, thank you for that. 'Cause
Yeah, there it is.
There you got
I
it.
clicked on the wrong page. Yes,
Who we
thank
got?
you. We have Steve.
Steve. Good morning, Steve.
Go add that.
Good morning, guys. Hope y'all having a wonderful day so far.
I
We're
do.
fine. You're one of Lee's favorite people in the world. So about this airline issue they had the other day with the
What?
two pilot, don't Captain Steve?
Captain Steve.
That's your favorite guy, right?
Oh,
Right next to your Brazilian lover.
would you stop?
What?
We have a
Hey,
minister.
the Bible's on the table,
Got the
Rayford.
Bible on the table.
Facts be facts, you know.
Oh my, Steve. No, this is our friend Steve. This is not Captain Steve, but go ahead,
Oh, it's Corporal Steve.
Steve. Go ahead, Steve.
I got it. Unaffiliated Steve.
Right.
What's going on, Steve?
What's happening?
I was listening to the show this morning, and it made me think of an old Native American fable that I'd like to share with y'all that I think applies almost to the whole show today.
Please.
Right.
Okay. It'll take me a second, so bear with me. There was a young brave and a chief elder who was sitting talking one day, and the young brave asked the elder, "Grandfather, why are some people so good and others are so evil?"
Great question.
The chief thought for a moment and said, "Young brave, there are two animals that fight in the heart of every man. A white wolf that represents everything good and pure, and a black wolf that represents everything bad and unpure." The little brave said, "Well, grandfather, which one wins?" He looked at him and said, "The one you feed, little brave, the one you feed." The same fable could be applied to Christianity as well. The battle between heaven and hell, God and Satan, is fought in the hearts of every man, woman, and child daily. And when you ask yourself which one wins, it's the one you embrace. Your caller earlier today, he is obviously dealing with some very painful issues that have happened throughout his life.
He is.
The only way to heal from that is to let it go, not to embrace it.
Thank you.
You're
You know,
right.
I know that's easier said than done. I've had some issues in my life. My wife's had some issues in her life, and I would tell that caller from firsthand knowledge, you don't forgive those people because they deserve it. You forgive them because you deserve peace. And that would be my advice to them, is that let it go for your own benefit. It doesn't benefit them, you know. So that would be what I'd want to share with everybody today.
You know,
Embrace the light.
Very
this
good.
thing about revenge or whatever, it would be so easy for me to dwell on some of the excuses for human beings that I've had to deal with in the past, you know, both professionally and just me otherwise. But I don't. I'm not going to let them rule my life. They can, you know, rot. I don't care. I really don't care. Go away. Leave me alone. You're on your own, bud. You made that bed lie in it.
Right. When you have a dark hole in your heart like that, more darkness does not fill that hole.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that can fill that dark hole is light.
That's right. That's why I want to go diving or fishing.
Yeah. So that's why I think a lot of people get caught up in their own anger. And anger can be a disability. It can be a blinder. You know, it can skew your view of reality even.
It can make you physically ill too.
It can, and vengeance never replaces what you've lost.
Nope, you got that right.
So,
Steve,
I
thank
just
you.
wanted to share that with y'all today,
Thank you.
and hope y'all have a blessed weekend.
We appreciate that. Sir.
You too,
Thank you.
Steve. Thank you.
All right, bye.
Have a good one. Bye. Yeah, these people are right. You know, you're hitting a lot. You're hitting home with a lot of folks out there.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes.
Yeah, the battle between flesh and spirit is something.
Mhm.
I read once that, you know, it's not the flesh that irritates the spirit; it's the spirit that irritates the flesh. And I equate our flesh to like a whiny toddler that wants candy for dinner.
Yeah.
You know, it wants to
Or
get
my
what
dog.
it wants. Yeah, and you know, so it's he's right. I mean, whether it's a Native American saying it's white wolf and all that, or we read in Scripture that's flesh and spirit, there is a battle. And I love how he said, you know, it's what you feed, what you give your attention to, like that thing gets stronger, and it makes it even harder to overcome when you keep feeding it.
I'm trying. There's a song out there. Accentuate the positive and whatever. What was that song? Do you recall it?
Accentuate
not
the
old
pos-
enough.
I know which
I don't
one you're
remember the
talking about.
song, but
Accentuate
there's
the
a verse
positive.
about it. Paul says, whatever's good, lovely, all that
Mhm.
stuff, whatever's commendable, worthy of praise, focus on those things.
I wish I still had Steve on the line. I guarantee you that he's a musician. He should
That's
remember
an
that.
old song.
Yeah, I know it is.
It's a. One day from I'm gonna look it up.
I am too,
Uh,
because it's a cool song too. But did you find it yet?
Ella Fitzgerald, accentuate the positive. I'm trying to get the words.
I thought you were about to sing it there for a second.
Yeah,
It sounded like a
I'm
tune.
waiting for her to
Sounded
do it.
like a tune
No.
was coming in there.
Oh, okay. Let me see. Anyway, so have you had to deal with really, really bad circumstances with a student? Like say, you know, they've really having it hard and when you run across one like that, like say they have really deep family issues, or,
Mhm.
what do you do? How do you handle that?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Eliminate the negative.
We are, is that the name of the song? Eliminate the Negative?
It's accentuate the positive. You've got to accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative, latch on to the affirmative. Don't mess with Mr. In Between.
That's the one.
That's it.
There
Go
it
ahead.
is. And
Bing
who was
Crosby.
it? Bing
Bing
Crosby.
Crosby.
Okay.
Bang. All right.
Yeah, that's a great question. You know, one of the things that is hard for us is to realize that we don't have all the answers.
Right.
We are not clinical counselors and things like that. We're ministers of the gospel. And so the first thing, or our major responsibility, when regardless of who we run into, whether they're just struggling with handling playing time or they have a serious issue at home, or you know, there's a ton of our kids that are bearing the weight of parental responsibilities when they're only 15 or 16 years old.
Ooh.
You know,
Oh,
they're
yes.
caring for their siblings because mom has chose boyfriend over the kids and has left town, and they're living by themselves, and coach finds out, coach is trying to care for them. I mean, there's just
Right.
a litany of issues like that with our kids. And so, as you said earlier, Ray, for like that, you know, sports is the escape, but sports is also their family.
Mhm.
It becomes the family they can trust and rely on. And when that family is rooted in Christ, then it's our job to continue to strengthen that kid for the adversity that he or she is dealing with. But also what's great I think one of the things we do the worst in Onslow County is we have a lot of really great organizations doing a lot of really great work, but we're doing it independently of one another in silos. And when it comes to the people who financially support these nonprofits, you have 8, 9, 10 nonprofits asking the same 50 families to fund everything we do.
And when we can be an issue.
Yeah. So as I'm now on the board of the New River YMCA, for example, and working with Billy Sewell and that crew over there to figure what we're collaborating about is how FCA can be a part of what the Y does, because we align missionally in a lot of ways. So the Y has it in their writing. I'm kind of getting around your question, but I'll come back to it real quick. Is the Y has it in the writing that instead of the Y trying to be the subject matter expert in all the things, because then they need funding for that, then they got to pay those employees and all that stuff. Try to align with organizations locally. They can use the Y facilities as the subject matter expert. So now there's a relationship. So now the community only has to fund one of us to do things together. So to your point, like what we want to be better at is understanding something like what Philippians Place does or what One Place does, and these different organizations that might heal with trauma or homelessness and things like that. We're not trying to bear that ourselves. We're trying to, Pregnancy Resource Center, another one, right? We're trying to lead them to Christ. That's what it makes FCA who we are. We're athletically focused and Christ-centered. But then when it really becomes a complex problem that is certainly outside of our wheelhouse, we humble ourselves before the Lord and we reach out to teammates that we know are the experts in those things, and we get them connected. And in reverse, you might have somebody dealing with trauma, and one of the things that can help them is getting plugged into a better community of people. Well, that's where somebody like One Place could reach out to us and say, hey, this kid goes to White Oak High School. Can we get them plugged into FCA? He's an athlete, whatever. That's what I think we need to do a whole lot better of in our community.
Excellent.
To ease the burden on any one of us, but also on those who support us.
Okay.
Excellent.
How's your negativity coming?
Wow.
Not yours, but how are the people who are negative to this whole program? How do you deal with it?
It's such a great question.
You got a bunch of them?
Not today. I'm sure they're out there. Maybe they'll call in and remind me.
I doubt it.
But no, truthfully, what has been the hardest thing for me in ministry, when I first got started and I was, becoming the director, and any pastor will know this, like you're increasing the awareness of the enemy that you're a worthy target, right? And I was preparing myself as a former Marine for spiritual warfare, and I was interpreting warfare to think that there's an anti-Christian organization or devil worshipers or something really overt like that was going to be coming after me at some point. I needed to be ready.
Probably were. Yeah, it was pretty accurate description.
What was heartbreaking and still is today is that the sometimes, really quite frankly, overwhelming levels of persecution that I went through, especially in the early years of me being the new director, were from Christians, the church. And that was,
really?
And I wrote a book on this.
Why?
And
You wrote a book?
I did. It's called Game Changer, and it really just gets into the raw and inspiring stories of going from Marine to ministry.
Why were they so negative towards you Christians?
Well, truthfully, they really only know that, or maybe I should say the Lord probably really only knows that, what's really going on in their heart. And I don't perceive to be the
Was it because you're Marine, do you think?
It was a lot of things. Yeah, it was people that might have looked at my past and said, "Oh, I remember that mistake he made, and so he shouldn't do this." There was people that said I had the wrong haircut for ministry. There was people that accused me of mismanaging funds because I got a new car, and they thought I was embezzling. I mean, I went through investigations. I went through a litany of phone calls where people were trying to get me fired because I made this switch from how we were doing ministry to team huddles, and I was I was thinking about doing the banquet a little bit differently, and just a lot of things that were really, really heartbreaking to feel so called by God. Is Miss Joy was so gracious to call in and affirm that she believes I am where I'm called. And I do believe that too, but to be early on in it, experiencing calling for the very first time, feeling pretty sure about it, but now the church is wearing you out. You start to really question whether or not you made the right decision, or what am I doing wrong? Or this isn't going how I thought it was going to go. And so to her point, I have learned the hard way that spiritual warfare exists in all kinds of ways. There's an enemy out there that's trying to stir in the hearts of people to thwart what God has called us to do, which for me was to be a means to bring everything together in Christ. Mm-hmm. That's the mystery of God's will in Ephesians 1, 9, and 10. So I have an enemy that specifically comes after me to divide and divide us into all sorts of things: Republican and Democrat, black and white, guns or no guns, and Jacksonville or White Oak. I mean, just tons of things. And so I did not realize that the vision and calling of everything together in Christ was going to be this difficult. And it still is today. That's the thing I struggle with the most, is people that are just okay being divided, including the church. We're fine, with the way we do ministry and our whatever the name on the sign says, we're fine with that. But man, coming together with that other church down the road, no. And, we've had events in other churches that people won't come to because of the building we were in. And, we struggle as the church to put more allegiance to the name on the sign than the name on the cross. And that breaks my heart. It really does. And, but focus on what is good. Right. So I really don't get too discouraged about that too often, because it can be heavy to try to carry that. But I think what I do to myself, unfortunately, is when the Lord, you read this in Deuteronomy, I think it is, where it says, raise up for yourselves a leader of the community so that the people won't be like sheep without a shepherd. I take that sort of calling really, really deep to the heart, that's kind of what I want to be in our community, is that kind of leader that would bring everyone together, regardless of where you go to church, but more who you follow. And it feels like a losing battle sometimes when people are just so comfortable to be either isolated or just in their little comfortable group of preaching style or theology. But that's why what's so special about FCA is we focus on Christ. We leave the denominational differences to the church and buildings, and we just focus on Christ. So when we do get everybody together, man, I'm gonna tell you all, it's people will walk away telling me like, it's been a long time since I felt like I was really doing ministry until I came to this thing with whatever we do in FCA, a camp or something like that, or some kind of event where you look around the room and you're like, again, 200 kids at a huddle at a school, they all go to different churches or no church at all.
That's right.
But we don't even address that. What we address is Christ, and they're finding hope and freedom and strength in Him. And so it's really, really cool when churches reach out. Like I just met with 2 pastors yesterday, one the day before that, where they realize that as a church, they need to get out more, and they need to find people where they are, and they want to partner with us and serve alongside of us. And that is awesome, because that's what we are. We're kingdom minded. We're teammates. We want to do this together with the church. We certainly don't want them to, we certainly don't want to do it without them.
In the aftermath of a series of tornadoes in 1984, ripped through eastern North Carolina, the little tornado alley, we used to call it, opposite County, up that way.
Yeah.
I went over, and I was a TV reporter at the time, and I went over, and I had so many people make mention, oh my God, why did God take that church? He destroyed the church.
Yeah.
Why did they do this? Why did He do this? It's the church. What? The church is a piece of material built by man. Period. Bottom line. It's lumber, it's bricks, it's mortar, it's whatever.
That's right.
That ain't, God didn't build that church.
Well, he certainly didn't do it.
It's not His
either.
Home either.
Yeah.
It's His home is everywhere.
Yeah, Christ is in us now, and the Holy, right. So I think that if I could be any encouragement to somebody who also says, man, everything would be better if we could just allow God back in schools. I've heard that for years. I was like, well, I will offer you that the God I serve is not bound by brick and mortar. He goes where He wants, and He is in the schools. And you may have an administrator or a school board or something, not here, but in an area that doesn't want any of this stuff to exist in school grounds. You may have that, but that still doesn't mean that the Lord is not there dwelling in the hearts of His people and influencing others. It might not be an official club or, advertised on the billboard, but He's there. Yep. And we're thankful for that.
Well, I'm glad you're doing what you're doing. I'm
I am
glad
too.
FCA is there. I'm glad you're the man in charge of it. It's working well as far as I can see.
What can people do that are very interested in being a part of this? How can they be a part of it and join the team?
Yeah, great question. And so Coastal NC FCA is a great place to just go and browse around. And there's so many different ways to get plugged in with us. We are unique when it comes to volunteers and things like that. We don't have a need where a lot of people need to show up and roll up their sleeves and help us manually do something. We're unique in the sense that our volunteers are people that want to disciple others. So, but if I could make a plug for one very specific thing, FCA Outdoors is the biggest reason I came on the show with you all today was to talk about this lane of ministry. We are asking people, just like they have done for my last 10 and a half years, invest in this opportunity to put our voice into the wilderness, to reach hunters and fishermen and backcountry enthusiasts like myself where they are in the backcountry, from hunt camps to boat ramps. Let's help dads disciple sons. We have a couple of videos we posted on our Facebook and Instagram pages in the last week, kind of highlighting what this could look like for our area. And we really need people to consider this like man, this is what I've been looking for. I love the outdoors. I love to hunt. I love to fish. How cool would it be to actually be able to use this thing I love as a ministry for the Lord? We want to help them with that by resourcing and training them up to do just that. But it's going to take people to help get my guy Cole on our team full time. So right now he's part time, and as you might imagine, you work a full time job all day doing whatever your trade is, and then he's trying to give 2 to 3 hours a night to serve the Lord with us. But he's got a wife with a newborn and a baby on the way. Oh. And a lot of things that make it really hard for him to do as much as he can do. But man, if he was full time with us, and so we need people to come to our sportsman's banquet next Friday night. We got dinner.
I asked you about that.
Yeah, we have Jimmy Seitz coming in, who is an outdoor evangelist. I mean, this is his whole world, so he's going to be our speaker. And it's a low entry fee of $50 a ticket, or $100 if you really want a VIP experience with Jimmy. But you get a meal thanks to Golden Corral. It's free for they're donating the meal, I should say. So this revenue is about getting Cole to full time. And so if people got a heart for helping us do that, and then in return getting resourced and trained and discipled to use their outdoor enthusiasm for the Lord, then I really would love to see them come to this event next Friday. And it's one of the rare events we're going to do for an actual fundraising event, because we're making a massive shift in our ministry and how we fundraise and how we do things. And it's kind of moving away from events and getting more to donor care and discipleship, and getting back to, even in a greater way, the core of who we are and how we exist. More to follow on that, but at least for now, next Friday night, you can get all the info on our website or Facebook page for our sportsman's banquet.
Okay.
We'd love to. We're all going to be there.
Buy tickets online.
They can buy tickets online or pay at registration.
It's Coastal NC FCA.
Yes, sir.
.com?
.org.
.org.
Yep,
Org. Remember that.
ORG.
It's an organization.
Yes, sir.
Org.
Yes, sir. And
that's always hard.
So we're all going to be there in camouflage and whatnot and blaze orange. So we encourage everybody else to show up that way too. It's not a black tie affair. We're just going to get a bunch of good old boys and girls together and talk about the Lord and the
wilderness. Leave your lady guns in your car.
Yeah. And I tell you, Cole and his board have done an incredible job. I'm so impressed with him. The amount of things they've gathered together to give away and raffle are really, really, really cool. Oh, so people that come are going to have a neat experience, get to interact with some kids in our ministry, and we'll let the Lord do the rest.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah,
I do appreciate that.
Very nice. Very good. Yes.
And being military, the one thing that I keep reminding people of, I haven't been in foxholes. I was a Coast Guard. We didn't do those. We kept our heads above water as best we could. But the one thing I always remember so many people saying who've been in combat, in a foxhole, there are no atheists.
Yeah.
Everybody's praying. When there's incoming, everybody's praying.
Yeah. It's something about being face to face with potentially the end that has you think about some things you don't normally when you're comfortable.
Changes in a hurry.
Yeah.
You just don't know. Whoa.
Yeah.
And I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
Other circumstances, but I can appreciate that.
Shucks. Every time I type this, I type it wrong. I'll try again. I'm trying to get the Facebook page up.
Gotcha. Thank you for that.
There.
Coastal NCFCA,
Right.
Same one.
Yes, got it.
Yeah, we got it under our events section, all the details there. And if they go to our website, they can see a little bit more about outdoors. And
right.
As Joey said, I've got my sabbatical hike videos on there that, people can really kind of walk with me through the wilderness. And
that would be good.
Experience what I went through and kind of what the Lord was teaching me in the middle of those moments.
Okay.
That's our launch stuff. Yeah. So it's advancing our voice into the wilderness is what next Friday is all about.
Very good. Yeah. Just one quick question.
Yeah.
First of all, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
And second of all, what made you want to get into this?
Yeah. When I decided I was going to retire from the Marine Corps, which is a testimony all in itself, a lady in my church said, the FCA director position here is coming open, and I think you'd be great at it.
Really?
And I'd never heard of FCA, wasn't involved in it. Or I shouldn't say, at that moment I'd heard of it only because of her, but I had no background or experience with it. And so FCA, I started researching. I reached out to the director that was hiring and kind of put my name in the hat, but I really didn't know what I was getting myself into. And I was in Florida at a YMCA with my buddy who was recruiting me for a job at the same time. And long story short, the Lord used a Christian athlete's behavior on the court at a basketball game at a YMCA to activate something in my heart that brought affirmation to something I actually heard in church about a year and a half earlier when our pastor preached on Acts 1:8. He says, "You will be my witnesses. And you will receive power when the Holy Spirit comes upon you." And then in that moment, when that athlete did what she did, and I saw the reaction of the refs and coaches and fans in the stands. It was like the audible voice of God ignited in my heart, said, "Go make more of those." And that was it. That's what started the whole thing.
Isn't that amazing?
A lot of people don't even know what YMC, the letters stand for. You know.
I do, and that's actually why
one really important letter in there.
Yeah, that's actually why Billy and Charlie and the crew over there brought me on the team, is to
Good
help
people.
Absolutely.
help be
Good
a part
people.
of that. And not every Y in the country does that. So we're really thankful to have the team we have over there.
YMCA means
Yeah, it's Young Men's Christians Association.
We
So,
need to
yeah,
get
the
Charlie
Christian
back
is-
in here. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Charlie,
Okay.
Nicole, and the crew over there, top shelf, good people.
And this is going to be at the
Triune Holiness Church out in Maysville. So we're out in the country.
yeah.
Yeah. You know,
Well,
so
Is that where your
Fish and
church is
Rains.
at?
no, that's Cole's church. So they were
That's-
gracious enough to donate their facility for us to do this. And
Okay.
it's good middle ground for all them Duplin, Sampson County boys that love to hunt too.
and Jones County.
And Jones, yep.
Mhm.
Yeah, don't forget those guys.
Well, they're in Jones County.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, but that's what I said. We thought it was good middle ground for everybody to get to, especially an outdoor.
Oh, I see it now. 1637 White Oak River Road. Okay. Well, I've put all this information in,
Thank you for that.
and we will definitely, I have to make myself a note to repost this
Thank you.
next week. yes.
next week.
And we want them to register today. Today and tomorrow. Like, let's get it done.
Well, you kind of got to know how much food to bring.
Yeah, we're a week out. We got
Billy
stuff to
still needs to know
finalize.
how much food
That's
he wants
true,
to bring.
true.
That's right. That's right. And so
All right,
it'd be a
I'm
huge
going
help.
to-
They don't need to pay today, but they definitely would need to register today to give us a really good count that we can operate off of. And
This is great. All right. I'm going to share it now.
thank you.
All right, Joey, you and Don need to be there. Don claims to be a fisherman. I've never seen
All
any fish
right.
called Joey. I haven't seen any of this fish.
That's why they call them fish stories.
I fish,
All right.
therefore I lie.
All right,
That's what
it's on our
it was
page
this
right
big.
now. All right, good, very good. Well, you never know about a person. I mean, we used to sit up there in the media booth while he was in a room calling the Jacksonville high school
we
games.
We certainly did.
Uh-oh.
So,
What do you do?
well, I like songs, right?
He's going to play
And this
that
just
song.
happens to be one that I really do like.
A little exit song for me. I like this.
Punctuate the positive feeling, minus the negative, latch on to the affirmative. Don't mess with Mr. In Between. You got to spread joy up to the maximum, bring gloom down to the minimum. Have faith or pandemonium, liable to walk upon the sea.
To illustrate his last remark,
No, no.
Jonah in the whale, Noah in the ark. What did they do just when everything looked so dark?
Man, they said we better accentuate.
Of course, this is Ben Crosby. Those ladies were known as the Andrews sisters.
Oh, Andrew's sisters. I remember watching them when
Oh,
I was
yes.
young. Come home from school and watch those old movies.
Mhm.
I loved
They're
watching the old
Great.
movies.
And they did a lot of military type stuff.
Yes.
Andrews sisters did. So that's pretty cool. Good songs.
Well,
Good
thank you
performance.
for coming in and sharing all
Oh.
this with us. It's just amazing the people behind the scenes that are helping our kids, our students, and other people. It's just amazing. Like we've been talking about, we've seen such a difference over the years.
We have.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's great.
Over the
It's
last
great.
5 years, has been a big change in the,
Yes.
way that our players play.
Yes,
Well,
and thank you
happy.
for what you do.
Thank you for having me and
So-
let me share a little bit. Really appreciate it.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you,
Yes,
sir.
You're welcome
sir.
back
Yeah,
anytime.
Love to see you.
Great. Look forward to it.
Just drop by the ball game sometime. Say
Like I
hi.
said,
Will do.
we need all the prayers that we can get in this place.
You know where we'll be sitting up next to the very top
Yeah.
on the extreme right hand end of the press box, as you're looking at the press box.
Love it. Well,
Yes.
you just keep that grenade a little closer and keep Rayford in line, okay?
Well, my problem is at the ball games is him trying to entice the refs.
I just took his yellow flag and he was throwing it down
There's
too
a
much. I
couple
just took it and
times-
kept it.
His wife and I have had to intervene. We're like, don't do that. We're going to get kicked out.
It did work. No, we still didn't get kicked out.
Don't spend any time in the in-between, Rayford.
I'm too old
Play
to
that
kick
song
out.
a little more.
Right, right. Well, thank you so much for
Yeah.
coming in.
Take
We
care,
really
guys.
appreciate
Thank you. You
it.
take care.
Thank
Who
you.
we got next week, girl?
Lord, I have to get my list out. I don't know yet.
All right. We'll talk about it later then.
Okay.
And you can check on Facebook, and I'm sure she'll post some
Yes.
stuff of upcoming events.
Oh, yes. We have a lot of upcoming events. Tomorrow's a big plant sale down there at the farmer's market.
Yes,
And at
please
10
get
o'clock,
up there
we
be there at 8
have-
o'clock. Be there at 8 o'clock. Be there at 8 o'clock.
Yes.
0800 to you guys out there. 8 a.m.
And at 10 o'clock, we have the Vietnam
Yeah,
Veterans
be there too.
Memorial. It's a Vietnam Veterans Recognition
We're
Day.
going to be there.
And that's at Lejeune Memorial Gardens. It
Come
starts
on,
at
say hey.
10. Opening remarks is by Major General Farrell J. Sullivan. Guest speaker, Edmund Hughes III.
Okay.
Good.
Sounds good. Have a
Yes.
great weekend, y'all. Be safe out there. Check the weather reports if you're planning on doing any boating. It's going to be dicey up and down. There
Mhm.
may be some breaks and maybe whatever. If you don't have the equipment, you don't have the ability, the experience, the knowledge,
Right.
stay away from the inlets is all I
Right.
can tell you.
And do not burn. Burn ban is
Do not
still on.
burn, and you're going to get a ticket, and it's going to cost you $183. I think the cost of court is $183 at least. And if the judge is in the right frame of mind or in the wrong frame of mind, it could be that fine that he puts on it too, $100 or more.
And if we do get rain Saturday night into Sunday and you decide to burn Sunday afternoon, please check.
Don't
To see if the burn ban has been
It's
lifted.
not going to be dry enough yet to burn, regardless
Right.
of the
Well, we
rain
say
we get this weekend.
15 to 19 inches we need to come out of the
Yeah,
drought.
it's and we're not going to get that. We get
No.
quarter inch. If we get it, we'll be
No.
blessed. After that, we're still going to have to do some
Yes.
watering, and hopefully next week we'll get a little bit more rain. Okay, have a great weekend, but please be safe. I don't want to talk about you on Monday.
Be careful on the
Okay.
roads.
Yes, and off the roads.
Yeah, take your time.
You're live and local, real talk. Where we're awake. Finally,
Never will.
finally, Ken was great in here,
Oh, I tell you, that was just, I feel cleansed.
and you woke people. Yeah, just get a life.
No, it
You'll
was
be
wonderful.
fine.
It was very refreshing.
See you Monday, 0700. Bye.